whatever it is, wherever you are. I don't know what I just did. So we've got this, which when it's working, shows clips. But in Chrome, which is what OBS uses for its embedded stuff, actually you're 8,000. Which I might not be logged in here. I guess I am. So OBS is just blank. Now, the really weird thing is that it's like whenever it changes, you like see it pop up, and then it's like, nope, we're not going to do that. And I kind of figured out that this, based on some documentation stuff, that might be a particular parameter. So this is embedding videos and clips. No, this is like user stuff. Non-interactive iframes for clips. Yeah, so this is not even in their example, but they added a required string. And then apparently when I was doing the other updates, I never actually looked at my notes for this app. Because I had actually seen this and kind of put aside like, well, we're gonna have to update the OAuth stuff anyway. So February 3rd. Oh, there is no deadline. Not required for the domain consuming the JavaScript. The domain is included automatically. What's a JavaScript embed? Only one domain. It's consuming our JavaScript embed wrapper. So is there no timeline update on here? And there's no mention of the fact that they actually started implementing this. No deadline. Yeah, they just implemented it. But yeah, it's like I saw this go by in news and never actually got around to it. Hopefully this works for localhost. Multiple parent values. The ancestors of your Twitch embed. Third-party sites your page is included on. Is embedded on not my website. That's weird. Uh, it also seems to be false. Unless this is the HTTPS issue rather than that issue, but we saw in Firefox that's not actually requiring that. Or maybe the different parts are coming out in separate stages. All right, so what was my test limits on here? Well, there was player off. Was it host limit? Just so we have to do fewer fetches. So I need to be able to get the domain of my current page. So we've got current URL. We've got location in the model. Does the view has URL and URL builder? What would be our method? Is a location a URL? Location is a URL. So actually, this should be just host. Display clip. iframe, source clip, attribute. Oh. This isn't an iframe attribute. This is a URL clip equals. Okay. Well, if we're getting it from what it is now, right, and then it will actually be. Because this actually is HTTPS, so that's not it. By itself, anyway. So clip.embed URL. So I need to know what this is. I think it's just this thing. iframe source equals. Okay, so the embed clip. So you used to be able to just kind of do a blind reference to this without having to care how they formatted it. So we have to trust that they have the question mark. Well, we could do Elm URL parser and then URL builder. Maybe. But I don't think they're really set up for that kind of stuff. And this is for strings. Well, it is a string. Parser query. Yeah, actually, the first level parser just gives you the query bit. Well, it gives you a URL, which is... I don't think there's a thing that's like, give me like just like name value pairs. It's all typed mapping. This means we'd have to like include their entire schema if we wanted to just say add a key to it. Well, I mean, you could introspect, but we expect there to be a clip. So this is just becomes... We don't have model here. Int with tight clip. Is clip an internal? I don't need to persist the display domain though. Well, we could have it in there and not persist that field. But then we have to... Where would I update that if I was doing that? My clip, duration equals nothing. Bed URL. So we are doing a transformation here, but this is done without itself. But we do have the model here to pass down. Yes, this is a weird thing where it's like this is the embed URL. But this is like very peculiar to how this was run. Right, and we had to did it in a few places. Now maybe we better doing the location here. Yep. Because that's all you really need. Carry with arrows. Operator precedence. confused because X same frame options to same origin. Yeah, I mean, the Clips player is meant to be embedded on things. Oh, and parent equals. How about that? Net aborted 404. Do we need a port on here? Domains that will be embedding Twitch. Oh, what the heck? I keep getting logged out of my dashboard here. Okay, so this one's still fine. It's not like that broken. Maybe I need to update my sandbox values. Because I think I had to actually add that stuff for it to work. But it's not in their documentation. All right, how about that query in particular? I wish you could see full paths here. Because what is our actual embed URL? Clips.twip.tv, its embed is going to be the top level thing in the network tab. And we're like getting an awful lot of stuff that's not just embed, so that can't be right. Okay, so you come back with a 200. So you're fine. And oh, were you like a pre-flight? Why is there... Maybe it's not a previewable response. Static, clips embed, year 200. Passport callback. Player backend. Okay, font. Passport callback. This is kind of, you know what, I probably need to turn off the timer. We're just kind of cycling here. I probably count on that to time down once. No clip cycle time, clip cycle time. That's a no hosts time. So this is for the things that are actually clips. All right, we display one. Shouldn't need to keep cycling. Interesting. Is it just like trying to start over and over again? No, this looks like API calls. My host limit isn't working. Let's not take. What? Maybe I put this in the wrong spot. Limit 100? Wait, current. Huh? Okay, what's location? Fragment, host, path. Okay. We forgot it here. Yep. I still got my, oh, there's my limit. Okay, that should cut down the network traffic. So this is something from some Twitch's code. Surely someone else is having this problem, right? I don't know which section clips are in. Create clip, 22 days. Recreation from source information. Oh, those missing fields. Okay. There was also the Twitch Discord. Clips help. Well, is there any more documentation here? Full screen, not relevant. It's the only required one. Let's see. Clips.twitch.tv. In a frame because it set X frame origins to same origin. Well, no, that should cover refuse to display. That's api.twitch.tv that 404'd. Okay, that's just that truncated. Am I getting another proxy server for this? Well, no, the problem is it's Twitch's code doing it. I'd almost have to proxy the entire... I'd have to proxy the first thing to rewrite twitch.tv in everything back to the proxy. Uh, let's see. Oh, no, I need another one for source control. Okay, so for this, well, actually, there's that. Was this all in view? Yeah, so we could just do that. All right, so maybe we have to go to the Twitch dev forums. Yeah, I updated both of them. Wait. That won't affect OBS, though. Nope. And I mean, this is localhost, so... Why? I guess I might as well fix that. But what the heck? I must have some weird layering here. Because there's the H1, there's the div. Clip URL. It's an ordinary href. Does that mean it's selecting the iframe? I think I've got the iframe selected there. Oh, PNG. Is that from the example? Set quality. Get quality. Is that in the actual clip URL? equality. So what the heck? I need like some sort of like layers thing. Okay, so the iframe has expanded. Oh, you know what? Because I think that the thumbnails may have had a quality parameter on them. I'll have to look into that later. So this might be a screen centering thing that what I was trying to do. So our view so clip URL. This is regular HTML. I could maybe this would be worth rewriting in Elm UI sometime. Because that's not the clip loading, that's like the clip player trying to load and then can't do something. Yeah, I don't know if that would compiled. Yeah. Now, maybe there's, I like tried to put this down to just what it needed, and there's actually more of an not going to allow all. It will pick me unique origin, block, 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 disable. Your just sandbox, all certified. That will remove the particular restrictions and allow forms, allow modals, allow orientation, allow pointer, allow pop-ups, allow presentation, same origin, scripts. Yeah, that's the only things I could see being interesting here. Unless they're using a form behind the scenes. Nah. Once again, we don't... There's compiler delay. Nah. Okay, so if we don't... do I have a separate style file for this? Because I think for iframe... You've got padding. Okay, I'm still in select mode. And now it's fine. So it's something that the iframe itself is doing. So is it trying to do that to its parent element? Now there's a question of, do I want to apply the padding to... Oh. Yeah, I guess I could have mentioned that as if you want to work through it. So I just turned it off briefly to try out to fix this thing, and that broke it badly. Yeah, so this is what I get. I guess I don't run it very often, so it could be. Where's the about? Okay, maybe they actually fixed something. Help. It's up to date on 81. Curtis, if it's a Chrome issue, that wouldn't help on OBS until they update. Oh, yeah, you're like 2 versions ahead. Yeah, so the iframe is like filling all of this space. Is it that? Oh, so we're actually positioning it there and patting it down. Oh. And then doing a negative margin. Well. That is really bizarre. So this has to do with how I was trying to center it. I wonder if z-index would do this. Oh, they would have to be doing it by IP address because it's also not working in. Here, let me see if I can just add the layer so I don't do all my other stuff. So it's a browser source, right? Add existing. Yeah, so it's just blank in that one. Which I guess just how OBS displays this thing. So maybe it's by IP address? Now I think I would presume the default is 0. Oop. Closing square bracket. Right, you had stuff and that one didn't. No. Well, you have to go into Interact and log in, possibly. Although there should be a login button there. Ah, okay. Which actually, well, this is probably already zoomed in. Yeah, last time I tried the OBS debugger, it didn't. I wasn't able to get in. Maybe they've fixed it since then. Well, let's This is still something. It needed to be done. So I must have had this indent here before. No. There. Oh, I haven't had occasion to log out in OBS that much. Strangely enough. Maybe he doesn't like things changing the URL. I guess the other way to do this might be to like put it up here and then like margin it down somehow so you could maybe still try to layer it better. All right. Or am I typing the index correctly? Position, z-index. Oh, do you have to be positioned for that to work? CSS positioning. Now, that's calculated stuff. Actually have a style, don't I? Yeah. Clip URL. Display flex. That's weird. Well, I think that the scenes and stuff, and it logged me out of my dashboard again. Interesting. Are like JSON files, so you can do emergency surgery if the browser source is a little confused. Okay, what? Okay, so it's the entire element. Yeah, not being able to kill a process is pretty bizarre.
Two small ones.
Okay, so
No,
it's
no,
not
okay.
completely broken in the sense that you can't play clips on here at all.
Learn.
And apparently that redirects through Twitch. Yeah. Oh. I may have...
Base dug out. Let's build that other set.
What the heck?
Place. Or mule wood.
Hooray! Brilliant timing.
Let's try a new instance. Maybe I had like some weird stale cookie or something. But that means that the annoying thing is like anybody could have that problem. Yeah. Okay. So for OBS, yeah, I accidentally fixed it, and you sort of helped. Yeah. So I closed it because it was like it's just playing all the time. So I got this link working. So I clicked it. And I was like, oh, well, the Twitch Clips player plays. That's nice. Now let's talk about through Twitch, huh? And then it just started working. Now, last time when I backed up, it went through Twitch. So I think there might be some sort of like weird stale cookie thing. And it's like not able to redirect to the authentication page inside the... inside the player or something. But like on Twitch it is. So now my problem is how do I do that in here? We already determined that the URL doesn't by itself work. Or, well, until I update it. That one actually went on top. Oh, okay. Syntax error. Oops. Okay. And we go into properties.
This is the best music in the game, too.
Relative. Yeah, we just had to visit Twitch. And a crouch fish dies for no reason. That's a bizarre one. Okay, so you were like, hey.
You're in danger, you stupid sons of bitches.
The annoying thing is that that's potentially an issue. Well, I don't know if there were a lot of people using it, but potentially an issue for anybody who was. And I don't know if there's any way for me to detect that in the program, and certainly I can't detect it now. Oh, yeah, well that logged out of everything, huh? All right, well, maybe it wasn't directly that thing, but it's good to have fixed it. Now use hardware, don't show it all. No. Yeah, I've not encountered that. I know there's something like with Chrome, you couldn't capture browser windows because of hardware acceleration or, optimization. Supposedly they have a special browser window capture now, but this is not browser sources. I have never had. No, I've never played with the hardware acceleration options. Yeah, I mean it works, but I know it used to be a problem that you couldn't capture the. So like that's. Yeah, so I've never played with the hardware acceleration option for browser sources. I don't even know how to do that. Or is that like a system-wide setting for all Chromium things? Okay, so it's like OBS settings, advanced. Process priority, video, sources. Okay, mine is enabled and I haven't had trouble. Maybe that's a browser driver thing. I have an NVIDIA card and I'm using that thing for the encoding, the INVEC. Use hardware acceleration, don't show at all. Huh, okay, so yeah. Don't show at all. All frames have issues. Yeah, I don't know. I know that they've got a really busy support channel. So either there was too much going on, there just wasn't somebody there at the moment. I'm pretty sure I have gotten responses, but that's definitely a weird one, and it might have to be a... Oh, yeah. I don't have one of those. Yeah, I have no personal experience with that one. Oh, is today the kick-in day? Yep, it is. Sort of. The thing I'm probably going to switch to in a minute here is the back end for my extension. So the web page only version will be broken until I figure that out, which I'm totally over engineering for the sake of learning. Yeah, I need to be able to make API calls, so that seemed like a possible solution that would, be it would scale up and down as needed. So mostly I'm trying to figure out how to do things with the programming environment that's not well optimized for that environment. So I'm just causing myself lots of extra trouble there. Ah. Yep. My main thing here is just like my internal programming paradigm. Bouncing ideas is always good, but a lot of it's just figuring out how I want to move stuff and maybe rewrite it to be cleaner. All right. I will need to... My deploy process is set up on the other computer right now, so I'm going to have to go push that later. I might need you for stuff. I'm not going to need you for stuff. On. Apocalypse. So we should be done with you for now. I guess I can just reparent these, but not only need a reactor when I start hitting the back end. Yeah, schedule some videos. No, it's Lambda monitor. I think that's where I'm at on it. All right. Oh, that was still they had this highlighted. What's WSL? I don't even know that acronym. But I need to use git commands. I use the terminal version both here and on OS X, so Windows subsystem for Linux. I remember hearing it existed. I've never really looked at what it does. Okay. Also, is that on all versions? Because I haven't had a whole lot of reason to go to the Pro version. Well, yeah, but I mean, there's like Windows Home and Windows Pro. Oh, okay. Might have to look into it sometime. So typos. Got retry. We did that. So that was front end stuff. I think it was at the point where I needed to handle, or I would like this to handle both the front end page and the extension. Ah, Windows features. Okay. I'll leave myself notes. Okay. Need variable fetch videos response. So I think I've done the back end. I have not done the gateway stuff to interface with it. Hmm. So if you're using Lambda as well, what do you do for versioning? Because it seems like they generally update in place. Or do you do any versioning? Is this like kind of copy the function with a name with a version number in it? Or is there some better support for that? So is this in the back end or the front end? Well, you don't have a fetch videos response. Fetch videos. And I don't actually care about you. So this is, yeah, this is in Lambda. VCS code commit. Submodules for individual functions. Okay, so at the Lambda level, you're just updating in place. Okay, so that was some front end stuff. Right, so yeah, we had one event videos. I need to be able to handle multiple of those. Yeah, API gateway can have differences. So I guess you have API gateway pointing to different functions, and then you kind of could progressively update those. Okay. All right, so this one's gonna be mostly handler. Was that the decoder that had the switch? Okay. Okay, so yes, that was actually the defense decoder. Oh, was this one a little bit in progress? It was. So we did that. We started decoding it. Maybe you have to send a request for this. And this is some of the stuff that's ugly. So where even is our test right now? It is requesting one thing. Event videos. So new event, videos. Okay, so we're pre-decoding that into a type. But they're sending the same event. Each subfolder belongs to its own submodule. Ah. Okay, so that basically organizes all the endpoints. Okay, so all of the individual things. sort of have their own source control history. And then you mark a version with this by doing the top level API or top level repository. Okay. Lambda proxy. Lambda put blah, blah, blah. Uh, yeah, I haven't done any kind of authentication yet because I'm looking at making it. The extension is a Twitch panel, so it has to be used by unauthenticated users. Okay. Oh, the JWT is something that Twitch gives you. I've not needed that yet. Okay. Yeah, I actually used that for the client ID. But I'm probably only pulling out the fields of interest. Channel ID, token, yeah, only things of interest. Well, okay, so the problem is that it's also a website, which will be breaking any moment now. Still working now. Now I could have two different backends for it. Or I could have this one require a user login. It might be useful to have two different backends just so I can easily sort the traffic out. But I don't know how to do anything in this that couldn't be emulated by an attacker just looking at the source. So this would be extensions. Well, I mean, this is somewhat Twitch specific. I mean, this is going to be completely anonymous, in effect. It's like we're not doing anything. Oh, right. If we did have some sort of login loop and then got a user tied to it, yeah. Well, also, perhaps more importantly, this is a read-only application. So it's not like somebody gets a token and they can start doing things. If you're actually taking actions as a user, then yes, you're gonna have some kind of login loop. User ID, user ID. That doesn't have the documentations on it. Channel ID, client ID, JWT token. Okay, so I did pull that out. Some back end, extension JWT. Yeah. But what do you do with the JWT? Since I don't really care about the user, I don't know that it matters. Expiration time, opaque user ID. Only Twitch and you have. Role, use Twitch ID. Okay, so there's going to be a signature. Yeah, so I'm going to have to look at this and see what it is. AWS policy document. Okay, so that gets into the Lambda specific stuff. Oh, hey, look, a new one. Yeah. Yeah, so if I did have an extension specific version, I could have that do the JWT checks. But that is like a whole other animal from getting it to work at all. Oh, I thought you said it was even not unlogged in users. Uh, oh wait, the token will be blank, but it'll still be signed? Ah, okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, Twitch will always have some token. We can verify the extension calls. The other potential use is I could potentially do allow origin. I mean, that doesn't block non-browser applications. Actually, that might be before CDN. Maybe before versioning, I'm not sure. Okay. AWS.secrets manager. Yeah, that's AWS SDK. So I ended up using, what is it? Key management service. What's the trade-off with secret manager? Because the async part of key management service is a little bit of trouble to use. And for somehow I don't know that either I didn't find secrets manager or I didn't think it was as appropriate. AWS client. Get secret value. Okay, so it's still asynchronous. Ah. And that's all that's used for. And Yeah, I'm still a little bit old-fashioned too. I mean, this is going to be Node, so I know what the environment does and doesn't support, but I'm still kind of conditioned to browser lowest common denominator kind of stuff. And well, I haven't turned it off yet. Oh no, actually it's 11 Pacific, so it's 1 here. Ah, yep. So this thing needs to be able to do differentiated requests. Or I need a separate function to make the other request. What are we doing? So that should probably be a different response of some sort. Well, that's the state for that. So that gives me a state that means do that. Okay. But yeah, it's entirely possible I fell into an unoptimal solution. Well, certainly the Elm part is unoptimal, but it's a brain stretching exercise. So, oh, I don't have a way to create a state for a different. No, actually, I do. What determines? That's the local function. Okay, so we've got execute request that switches off our state type. Oh, I need the actual. No, I've got this function. And maybe I need the handlers for it. HTTP response, fetch token, fetch videos. I don't remember where I stopped. There's a problem with kind of being in the middle of something. I just ran out of time. All right, well, so we got an event. Oh, these are the by ID ones. And I don't have a good naming convention here. So given an ID, the extension just needs the videos. The web page also wants the name. So that gives us a state value. I guess I should verify this fails. Well, actually it'll succeed, but it won't return the information we need. Is that how we broke it down? No. Okay, so that's doing the same thing as before. I know there's missing steps here. I just don't remember what they are. Actually, that was not fetch videos with name. But we never got back to here. Okay, so we fetched we got the user fetch, we've got the videos, we're just not doing anything with the response. Anything different with the response anyway. So we had fetch user by ID. Our state includes the user ID and the user name. Or adds a request for that. That does fetch videos with our new state. So, right, so the request to a fetch videos call has to be differentiated. Okay. Thanks for all your help. I actually don't think I would have ever tried just going to the Twitch page if I wasn't trying to fix that link. So you're going to come in, you're going to come with a different state. So like this stuff, well, up to there could be pulled out to a function. Session is needed for the response. Oh, right, we're doing a decode state here. So we actually, that was videos, but really it was a response. So we kind of want to do something with you. So we're always going to need the videos. We are going to need to pull the session out. But the response we send is going to be a little bit different. So maybe I need to... All right, so state should get decoded here. Then it's going to depend on the request type, what we do. Oh, this is part of my... So this is actually the encoded state. So an update event is always getting back a JSON value. For most of these things, we have now unified that state. It's not for all events. I'm wondering if I should rename the outer state variable here because it's kind of like a JSON token thing. Yeah, we've also got access tokens. I don't know if that's a good name. Yeah, update event. What's the type with it? What do we call you? And then, like, these things don't have to be there. Right, but decoding can fail. So you are, in fact, a result. So you're the state value. Right, and then you were then doing your decoding of other stuff inside there. You're going to move up here somewhere, although this may have to actually send an error response. So now we know it's okay, so we can now get state.session here. You're actually going to send response. Well, this is going to depend on what our state was. Can I switch into a field? Is this at the point where it compiles? Oh, I actually wrote this to expect a result. But that's the only place we send it. And now we are having to do this first. Okay, can I? So now you can do just like that. How would you match this with a named field as a particular type? It doesn't like that. That doesn't seem like the right syntax. No. You may not be able to do that. We have to do case state.request of. So if we're doing fetch videos, and I don't actually care about this in that case. I probably should do something else here. That compiles. This is where we expect to actually get this response, and you care about the username. Now, I guess we could actually return both for completeness. So this response I don't think that'll extend the other one, though, because we've got multiple things to handle. All right, syntax check. What's with the function before? I actually want to have that first. But now we need to do it. If we do both, we have to do a sub decode. But if we include both, we can use roughly the same response for both ID to name and name to ID. Did I have a reply module? I had a reply encode module. So there's encode video. Let's encode one video. Encode videos. Yeah, so this is where we want to deal with this. Now I could potentially do the top level replies here as well. Be a little bit like this. Actually, I guess for a user, just ID name, huh? Username. All right, this is going to be code user. Right, videos got managed up there. But that's kind of creating some dissonance now. Is that not what I took out? Our? Do I use videos someplace else? Oh, yep. Yep. So I should probably normalize these. Do it twice, but it's better parity with this. And then we can have a, this is a reply dot. We're just using it as an encode module. I'm not super happy with those either. Oh, right, because we have to put together a whole bunch of information. We don't necessarily have a single structure for everything we need. Unless I like make a structure that represents the abstract version of this before encoding. And we tear it apart and encode it. It's like right now these are small enough to be manageable. If things got more complicated, it would be a problem. And then you'd also be passing in like a ton of parameters, but usually it's going to be like, I guess you'd end up with like some sort of like work in progress. That means you'd have to deal with fields that aren't there yet as you kind of build up all your information. I don't have a good solution for this yet. Okay, we did the fetches. And maybe I got this wrong. Well, no, because this wouldn't match if that was wrong. I guess that needs to be debugged to do, probably. Fetch videos and name. For some reason, I thought I was doing this in the other order. I thought I actually had the name done already. So fetch videos. Okay, we never, well, it's created and translated that way. Oh no, so that was the name of that. Does that mean we're constructing this wrong? No, fetch and, we only know the user ID. That's the state. When we step, you go to execute request. If it's and name, we fetch the user. That comes back on fetch user by ID. We go to this state and step, which does fetch videos. Which should come back here. We get our states crossed. We came back. Maybe I forgot to change my reply thing. No, that comes back on tag fetch user by ID. And indeed it does, because we then go fetch videos. So maybe I am incorrectly threading state. Okay, we go to fetch user. Our state is used, well, yeah, we need to fetch them to get that. So what we really care about is when we go to fetch videos. Fetch videos with name. We've got the name. When we come back, to here. Oh, am I even... I'm not using this anymore. User ID. We made a fetch videos call. Using a with name state. And then we got back the old state. So we're threading, we made the call. Can I not encode that? Shh. Yeah. Sidetracking can be a problem. How about Lambda layer? Sort of know what we're getting. We know what we get back. What do we actually send? What's going to be a value? How about... Fetch videos and name. Wait. This might be an encoding error. Yep. So then our decoder comes along and doesn't grab the other value. And it's just, yeah, just going to decode with the wrong decoder. Hey. All right, what else did I put in for debugging? Now, we really should never get here. It's a decode error. All right, so that is from user ID path. So what does that do to the front end? Schedule graph. Oh, that was odd to define definitions. Schedule from. Well, I actually, right now I have to deploy this to test the front end. And set up all the mappings. So maybe we should keep working on how we do the username lookup. Did I have an idea what I was going to do with that? I think I was just going to do a username lookup and go ahead and make that one a separate call. Or just we know username. Yeah, because like the resource we're fetching is videos. Videos with name given user ID. So that would be like videos with ID given username. So it is 2 requests in that case. But you would expect you would think that if it got use, it would be direct links to the user ID. So then that's just a completely separate event, which just comes back as fetch user, sends the user information. Still very uncertain about that part. And I also want to do a lot of rewriting here. The logic is getting kind of hard to follow. And I think that there may be like another layer, like the application specific encoding and decoding and interpretation of Lambda events versus like the sort of generic Lambda interface. Multiple, okay, so that's variable fetch, we've done that. So if our test is now this is actually different enough that oh, and I checked in with limit 1, but we're still doing some bunch of testing stuff, and that will give us an error. So when we get a Lambda event, All right, so I started doing something for my input. That's probably a user ID field. Then our handler has to handle that possibility. Pending requests, fetch user by name. Which affects our state, which is fetch user. Right, because I think I do actually use this state to send the request. And then there's going to be things that need to deal with this. Right, that's the event. We need the, that should never be a fetch videos response. Now our this fetch user by name. So it's user's login equals at that level. Now that's not going to give us an error because all we can do is a string over JavaScript port. Now, which one are you complaining about here? This is state encode, right, because we have to re-encode it to send it back over the ports. State that fetch user by name, which we have to expose. This is fetch user. That's not the thing it's complaining about. Oh, right, I didn't call it that. feels kind of like the request. It's like an abstraction of a request. All right, now that won't work because we don't have an HTTP response handler for that. So the user decode is going to be similar to that. Then we're actually going to issue a response. Instead of queuing a new request. And issuing a response is going to look more like this. Right, so we only checked the user if we got some kind of good state. Right, and you can get both fields from here, so we didn't really have to check the state. I don't necessarily... we also pulled the username from the state, so we did kind of need it there. We have to parse the state to get the session. So we don't have to do differentiated response here. We can get the information from there. Bad request. ID login or OAuth token? Oh, we did a fetch token. Loglin. So it was unauthorized to an unknown URL. That's an interesting response. To do. Unparsable state. I probably forgot to do this. You're only a map 1. Yeah, so that would be fail unparsable state. It didn't tell me. Right, to do doesn't give me the well, unknown request state is the same thing, I guess. Okay, so our test bit succeeds. So we have multiple event types. The testing case for the JWT is going to be, well, that's technically going to happen on the gateway. Getting the test ones could be interesting. So that'll still be 2 requests in the front end app. Actually, I never did look. Or if I did look, I forgot. Well, actually, it's API Gateway and Lambda. Find functions. Handler ratings.handler. By default, uses proxy integration. And vars. Serverless application model. Because this is a whole nother thing. But this uses proxy integration. The local testing would be nice, though. I might have to rewrite my event handlers to do the proxy integration. Package and deploy. That's the tutorial. SAM CLI. README events, event.json. That might be for testing. Pies, that looks like a Lambda. Or is it implicitly defining the API and the Lambda? SAM template. Or maybe the API is defined there. Contains a Lambda handler logic, Python dependencies. Now, does this put... I was using environment variables on the function. I might have to look into how this is doing it. Now, this is still an expensive test. They've got a full Docker environment and stuff. You can't do a quick iteration, but it might still be better than deploying to the live one. SAM app. There is a sort of a topic for this. You see, that's a reference. Example applications. Yeah, neither of these are APIs. Yeah, so you just kind of have to deploy it and the coding these are not going to be too hard. There is some restructuring that has to go on there. And I'm trying to decide how much time I want to spend on this right now. We have to build out 2 new endpoints for that function. Yes, that's not just update the code. So, given that we need to work out all the event stuff, and then update the front end to use it. And we still want to do a lot of refactoring on the back end. Well, that's not necessarily linked, but we definitely have more stuff to do. Let's see, checking the JWT, that's going to be a gateway thing, so it doesn't directly impact our code. So we've got some stuff pulled out. Our only application message is the Lambda event. Now, one of the things I was thinking about is possibly having like an application Lambda layer that did some decoding of this. So, in particular, like parsing these strings, and there's still going to be a parser there, but doing that, and then like doing like the JSON decoding level stuff. And then you get an application update that had decoded things. So part of the way you'd handle some of this stuff in regular Elm would be you'd put a different response tagger on it. To do that here, I'd have to change my model to be less token passing and more I keep a list of requests I've sent with some sort of response ID and look that up when it comes back. That would save me encoders and decoders. Oh, but if I have to have a generic, well, the idea of those is it's a partially applied function that keeps any information it needs. We do have to keep track of our session response token, though. So that would have to be in all of them. In our retry status, so at the point where we're doing HTTP requests, I do have a single type for state. So you could do HTTP response as keeping that as a piece of the information. Yeah, because being able to say, well, this thing always gets decoded that way, and that's just an event. It would take a little bit. Well, it would make the individual bits of code a little bit more tractable. And then simply some function extraction would be useful. A thing to throw pending requests on might be a nice little helper. Because either we're responding, and my main limit with having encoders for these is if they grew, they would turn into a whole bunch of arguments, which would argue for a type for each response that would be appropriately encoded. I might be able to make a header for the Lambda functions. Or yeah, helper. Because I always got the same. I think these all have the same host name. Well, the token doesn't. Maybe for all the Helix calls, you could have a helper. So a relatively straightforward change. We've only got reply and code right now. So you can do a type for each reply. That would allow you to pull out the encoder. The problem is those types are going to want all of their fields filled in. If it did turn into a multi-step build process, you couldn't put maybes in there. Well, that actually goes back to your state. I guess you could do it where reply knows about state. It says, give me your state and your last piece of data. And we'll pull out the bits we need from the state to send that. Now this actually has a differentiated response type. So I guess, so you'd like have to switch it out and then pass it out to, for, I don't necessarily need type aliases for what I'm doing right now. So we've got a videos. I guess we can technically do these incrementally. Nope, this needs to be handler. That is indeed fetch videos. That's just exposing a function. Oh, we lost our bracket. It's not in code here. It's a local function, which doesn't even need to be exposed when we're done here. Yep, and we use the encode stuff directly. So then you well, that was quick. This argument is a record of type. List helix. Oh, I pre-encoded you. No. Video, video, video. Events. The type alias is, well, I wouldn't have matched a type alias, so it would still be, something's wrong here. And then, so it's going to be like a mix of this with a dash of that. So the idea was to have the structure of this be similar to the structure of the response. And then it's getting kind of unwieldy. I can't dig into sub records, can I? Well, you can still do user. Oh, except it's not user. Argument is a pattern that matches the records of type. As at least. Oh. And that's an exposed value that we're still using. Okay, videos reply. Videos with name reply. If I structured it the same, I could actually reuse that object. But this is supposed to be the specific formatting that will exactly match what we send. And then actually, well, no, a user reply is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have that level in there. And with that as the only field, I might have been like double go in there. But how do I not have encode.user? Because I still have the it's encode object, but it still has to encode a user. Encode.encode user. We had to change that. And this actually becomes more verbose. Well, a little bit. But it's display name. String, user use app, yep. User equals ID equals, and then we shouldn't need those. Do we still have any? We probably do have some encode, encode.null, code.state is for me. Yeah, so the only JSON encode we've got is null right now, which is specifically because this takes no interesting state. Wait. An exposed value. Decode.decode value. Which maybe this is one of those layers we want. Where we have like the decoders for various responses to get down to just what we care about. All right, and I should probably go have lunch and stuff. This is still very much work in progress. I'm pretty sure, I forget the exact timelines. I've got at least to the end of this month, if not next month, to finish up the extension stuff. Well, web page version's broken, but or will be in half an hour. But probably when I've got a bigger chunk of time to work on it, I could get this on Lambda and update the front end to that and like do a little deploy to get the public one working. Oh, I also have to update the clips thing. Anywho, thanks for watching. Especially Miranthu for all the help. Don't know if he's still lurking, or they are still lurking. What do we got? If it's still working, and for the moment, this is not the extension version, so this may very well break soon. I forgot I was using it in here. Bye. Do I have any other code going on here? I've not been doing good at looking at stuff lately. A little bit bigger, but I see a chat voting bot going on. Looking for someplace cool to hang out. CM Griffin is working on some kind of chat bot. So that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye and until next time.